Welcome to the Reimagine You Lab podcast, the space and place to learn, test, try, and say goodbye to doubts and delays. I'm your host, Michelle Gines, the Reimagined Scientist, called to create, cultivate, and collaborate with you, the real you, the true you, the best of you that you haven't even reimagined yet. In the lab, we're committed to learning from those that have done it. Here, we test ideas, untangle perspectives, create new hypotheses, and try new approaches. We are committed to saying goodbye to anything that has ever stood in your way. We believe there's always a more excellent way to get you to where you want to be. So join me here each week. In every episode, you'll find good tips from smart, witty, and wise men and women sharing insights, providing perspectives, raising your thoughts, and you'll come away with winning tools you can use every day in your practical life. And in life, if you're wanting to make a change, see something different, or do something different, you've landed in just the right place because it can be done. And the reason I know is because I believe change is only a choice. If you're here, you're supposed to be here, and I'm glad you found us. You have entered the Reimagine You Lab podcast. I'm going to grab my lab coat, take a seat, and let's go. Welcome to the Reimagine You Lab podcast. This is the space and place to learn, test, try, say goodbye to doubts and delays. And I'm your host, Michelle Gines, the Reimagined Strategist, the one who is called to create, cultivate, and collaborate with you, the real you, the true you, the you that you haven't even reimagined yet. And today my guest is the Rochinda Pickens, author, speaker, national best-selling author and speaker, the life coach, the life shifter, the crown checker. Have I missed anything, Rochinda?
The Nana.
The wife, the mama. Hey, girl, listen, she's all of that and a bag of chips.
Oh my God, look, let me get some of these chips here so we can start chowing down.
How are you, Chinda? I'm so visionary, the kept woman of God, conference visionary.
Wow, look, you know what? It's interesting because I'm hearing you say all these things and I'm like, is she talking about
me? I am.
Yeah, I'm good. I am good.
Thank you for coming into the lab. I'm so glad that you are here.
I'm excited about the lab. Let's see, what are you putting together here?
So the lab is all we are talking about in season 1. You know, change has been the thing that I've been doing over the past year. And so the podcast, the lab, the Reimagine You Lab podcast is all about this season. We're talking about change and those who are those change makers and how do you make change. And we're not talking about from dollars to cents, but how do we make our cents make dollars? Right? We're talking about all kinds of change. And so I have been inviting change makers to come into the lab and kind of share with me, share with our listening audience, you know, what's it like? You know, how do we change our perspectives? We want to hear from those witty and wise men and women who are making changes in their lives, the lives of those around them. You know, how do we do that? You know, what does that look like? What are those experiences like so that we can help those others who are wanting to make some changes in their lives? How do we help them reimagine? How do we help them do it? And so I thank you for coming in and kind of sharing, Rochinda, think about, you know, what was one of the biggest changes that you've made in your life? What did that look like? What was it and what did it look like? How'd you process through it?
Wow, you know, it's interesting. I mean, I'm 58 years old, so you know, yeah. I'm a little
bit young 58 years old.
I'm a young 58. And you know what? It's interesting because a lot of the changes that took place in my life, once I was able to really embrace it, it was my voice. It was, I had to learn to use my voice and that my voice was relevant because so many times I was behind the scene and I didn't feel like I had anything important to say. So once I was able to really say, okay, your voice is relevant.
Yeah, it matters.
Yeah, it does. It matters. And then, you know, you look back over things and you like, wow, your voice is relevant because you have touched women all over the world. So
Yeah.
that was a major change right there. Just really embracing the voice that I have inside of me and not to keep it quiet.
Well, you know what, Regina? So, okay, so let's talk about that because when I just introduced you,
Mhm.
less than 5 minutes ago, and I said, Arthur, speaker, you're a facilitator, teacher. You are a life shifter. You're a life coach. You help people shift their lives, right? They're for them to embrace. You are the visionary of this is your eighth annual Kept Woman of God conference that's coming up. To me, it sounds like your voice boomeranging all around the world, as you just mentioned.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there has to be some relevancy to the voice you're talking about. You've got
Absolutely.
some things to say and share. kind
Absolutely.
of kind of speak to a little bit of, what are some of the things that, how have you used your voice? We know that you're using it in that way. What are some of the things that your voice has been saying? What are some of the
My,
things you
my
share?
my voice has been saying, it has been saying, I can do it. My voice
Yeah.
has been saying, you're important. My
Yeah.
voice is saying it's okay to start over. My voice is saying you don't have to know everything. My voice is saying, yes, Lord, use me. My voice is being heard loud. And it trips me out, Michelle, because when you introduce me, all these different pieces, it is all tied into my voice. And I didn't get that voice. I mean, I had the voice, but I didn't use my voice until what I went through, and that's
Yeah.
what, over 16 years ago, to the point where sometimes I have to pinch myself because I'm like, Rochinda, your voice is carrying and it's going outward,
Yeah.
and you are helping women be able to use their voice and share that, the mess that they thought that was mess, it really is not mess. It's actually are the receipts to let the people in the world know, you know what, I got what I need. I got what I need. So your voice is very important,
Yeah.
because if you don't use your voice, then you are stopping someone else from being able to use their voice. And so for me now, when I'm speaking, I'm like, it's not about me. Rachinda, the words that you are speaking out of your mouth is so your other fellow sisters can be able to embrace it and they can hear it. Because sometimes when someone else is speaking, it sounds a little bit different and you like, are they talking to me?
Yeah, exactly.
That's me.
Exactly.
And so my voice has been able to witness to the widow.
Yeah.
It's been able to witness to the single mom. It's been able to witness to the sister or the brother that want to get married again. It's able to witness to the nanas, the grandmas, the aunties. I mean, all of these different stories that I have inside of me. No
Yeah.
one will know those stories until I actually open my mouth and share. I mean, like, as
Yeah.
the conference is, we're talking about 8 years.
Yes.
8 years. What if, what if I had not opened my mouth? First of all, what if I had not said, yes, Lord, use me?
Yes. There you go. There you
That
go.
piece,
Exactly.
look, that piece right there, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, Lord,
No.
this,
I love that. And see, that's the thing that I believe is so incredibly important to everybody. I mean, like, even when I think about reimagining, right? Like, in one of the earlier episodes, I was talking to Sheena,
uh-huh,
and she was saying, like, she just couldn't believe, like, she went from quitting her 9 to 5 job to being a salon owner. She was already doing hair at her house at night. She had a job, but she was also coming home after her job and doing hair in her house. And
uh-huh,
she was like, you know what? Somebody told me that they were moving out of their shop and that I could take over, the leasing of space,
uh-huh.
and I could have my own shop there. And she said she put in the application to lease the space, and blah blah blah. And she was just nervous about, hey, could I do this?
Uh-huh.
Well, the person that she put the application in with approved her application. And now here she was. She had her own space, and now she's gonna have her own salon. And she's like, "Wow, I did that." And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, you can do that. You just have to reimagine for you that it's possible. That and just like you said, hey, I am a testimony of all these different types parts of me that it's in me. I just
Right.
had to open my mouth, and here I go, and I open my mouth, and here I am 8 years down the road, and I'm this, I'm that. I
Uh-huh.
would have, who would have thought?
No, nobody. But you know what? It goes back to embracing your breakdown so you can be prepared for the breakthrough. A
There
lot
you
of
go.
times we don't embrace that. We don't
Yeah.
embrace the stuff that we went through because we're like, oh my gosh, it was so traumatic. I
Mm-hmm.
don't, I look, I'm going to block that out. You can't block that out. You have to
No.
embrace it, look it straight in the face,
Yeah.
identify what it is. And
Yes.
then that is the tools that allow you to keep going and keep going and keep going.
Absolutely.
And then
Absolutely.
what happens, Michelle, your breakdown doesn't look like a breakdown anymore.
No.
It's
I
like I've been set up.
Yes. Yes. As a matter of fact, okay, so
Uh-huh.
as a publisher, I believe that everybody has a story in them. Everybody's got a story to tell, right?
Yep.
I believe that it's not just your story, you got a story to tell, but your story keeps on being told
Yes.
over and over, and you keep not but the thing of it is it's not even like it's the same story that keeps getting told over and over. How many times has Cinderella's story been told over and over again?
Over
It's
and
over and
over.
over
And
again.
we still telling the story. We might
Yeah,
we
we
put
keep remaking
ourselves
it.
and we put ourselves in those stories. I mean, you think
Yeah.
about it. My story from that first book, from being kept to being kept, who would
Yes.
have thought? You remember I was like, oh, I'm just, one book. Now we talking about 4 books.
4 books, 3 national best-selling books.
And I'm like, okay, Lord. But it's the same old stories over and over and over. But every time it's something new.
Something
Because,
different.
you know,
Yeah, something added. You've evolved. And that's
absolutely.
what this is about. It's like we evolve and allowing ourselves to evolve, not putting ourselves. The Bible even says, "Why put a candle under a bushel? A candle's supposed to be on a candlestick so that it's
Absolutely.
supposed to illuminate and produce light."
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And you just said, allow
Mm-hmm.
yourself to reimagine.
Yes, allow yourself to reimagine.
Allow.
That's what we're called to do. That's what we're called to do. So Rachinda, so tell me about, because one of the things is, as we were preparing, to have this conversation, I'd asked you about, tell me the change that really changed you, and you talked about it allowed you to see the possibilities. So when, and I'm saying to people, when you reimagine what life can look like for you, tell me, what are some of the possibilities? You've already done some things, so what are the possibilities now that you're looking
Oh,
forward to seeing?
oh my gosh. You know what? I, I mean, it's they're huge. And
Yeah.
I've never been in that place to even think, this large or scale.
Yeah.
Now my brain is like, oh my gosh. So some of the possibilities, like woman of God, my brain is like, okay, you know what? We have ambassadors. We're going globally.
Yes.
So we're going to reimagine, what does it look like for Kept Woman of God to be all around the world? It's kind of like you have these different hubs,
Yeah.
not in one
Hmm.
spot. I'm reimagining, what is life going to be like for Rochinda as a wife? Because I got, it'll be 9 years coming up,
Yes.
and my husband and I, we're entering into a new venture, to the point
Yes.
where now my brain is reimagining, when I'm not here with the grandchildren, what is it going to be like to be this wife to my
Yes.
husband, a new business. I mean, I'm reimagining, Michelle, so much more to my brain is like, oh my gosh, it's limitless. And
Yes.
I feel like so many times we put God in a box,
Mm-hmm.
and I no longer will put God in a box because he is a God of abundance. And when you reimagine, you're believing bigger. You're
Yeah.
like, I'm believing bigger. Okay, I'm going to reach more women. I'm going to serve more women. I'm going to
Yeah.
serve my husband better than I have been.
Yes.
So I'm reimagining all those things. And is it scary? No, because in Michelle's book said, don't say that.
Don't say that.
I'm
It,
not going to say it's scary. It might be just a little different,
yeah.
but it's not scary.
No, absolutely not. You know what? There's something that Nike is saying right now that I absolutely love. And we would often say that nothing is impossible. You
Right.
know, we'll say nothing is impossible. But I like how Nike is saying it right now, and I have just adopted it. And
Uh-huh.
they say that impossible is nothing. Impossible is nothing.
That's a t-shirt on the front
That
and the
listen,
back.
impossible is nothing. And so that's how we living right now. We are reimagining that
Uh-huh.
impossible is nothing. Because we got a God that says that nothing is impossible. Impossible is nothing. So I love it.
I
Oh,
love it.
Rochinda. So tell me Rochinda, what type of advice do you give? And I love talking to you. I love, we talk often, and I love it because you iron sharpens iron, and you need to be connected to people who think like you think and that help you to see far past your own even expectations so that you can kind of keep your vision big. And
Uh-huh.
so, what type of advice do you give to change makers, those who are wanting to reimagine their lives, see things in that global perspective, like you're saying, seeing that impossible as nothing? What advice does Rochinda Pickens give?
The advice that I would give is do it afraid.
Yeah,
Do it
yeah,
afraid. We get in our head, and these things are going in our brain like, oh no, no, no. Do it afraid, because you don't know the possibility while you're just sitting still. So you might as well jump. You might as well jump, and you're like, I'm jumping, but I'm not jumping to fall, I'm jumping to soar. So my advice would be do it afraid, and embrace all of those things that you thought was the breakdown, because you getting ready to soar high for your breakthrough. So that advice would be keep going, keep going.
keep
I
on
look, if
going.
I can do it, you can do it. And we talking about starting all over. It's like, no, I'm not starting all over. I'm reimagining what my life is going to be like. I'm reimagining what it looks like to be able to just be in the bed, sleep, and still things are still happening.
Rolling.
Reimagine.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I love that. You speaking my language, girl. You speaking my language. I love these type of conversations. This is the kind of stuff that keeps the juice in my joints, keep the flow in my brain. I love it. I love it. I love it. And you need that. You need that. We all need that. That's what keeps the fuel going. This is what keeps my hope alive. This is what keeps me dreaming. And if I can keep dreaming, then I can keep living. I can keep knowing that life will keep allowing me to live. you know,
Absolutely. And another thing, I know you asked for one advice.
yeah, give me another. Give me another. What you got?
You must be in community with
Yeah.
others. You cannot reimagine and do things on an island by yourself.
No.
A lot of times we're like, okay, I'm going to unplug. It's okay to unplug for a little bit, but you have to be in community with other folks. Like you said, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
It allows you to dream bigger. It allows you to even think about the possibilities of doing certain things. And somebody might have an idea for you. So be in community.
I love that. And that is so true. You know what? Silos take a long time for
Mhm.
you to get where you want to go. You know, you could try to do it by yourself, and a lot of people have. You know, sometimes it's taking them a lot longer. You know, and sometimes you need that encouragement because sometimes when you're doing it by yourself and it takes, you know, it's taking you a long time and you're not getting there, and sometimes you give up and you. But if you've got a good community that's there, they're supporting you, they're engaged with you, they're keeping you with that momentum, and you can kind of move. I'm telling you, it's a lot better and it's a lot stronger, and you're fueled and you're powered to go far. So, oh my God, Rochinda, I can't believe our time is up. Girl, these episodes, they move way too swiftly. This has been a blessing. I thank you, my dear, for taking the time and coming on and being with us. You're always dropping dimes in here, giving us good stuff to feast on.
Well, it's been an honor. And look, I would love to come back another time because
Oh,
I'm just
absolutely.
giving little pieces, because it's like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I know you got so much more in the vault. I know you got way, way more. So we will definitely bring you back on. You know, listen, you're gonna be a regular here. I'm gonna have you come on and co-host with me a couple of
Look,
those
all you
episodes.
do is say the time, be there, and I'm right there.
I love it. Thank you so much. You are so
Thank
awesome. I
you.
love you. I
Love
appreciate
you
you.
too.
Ah,
Mwah.
love you, my dear. And we will bring you on. This has been the Reimagine You Lab podcast. I am your host, Michelle Gines, the Reimagine strategist. This has been my guest, Rochinda Pickens, national best-selling author, life shift coach, visionary of the Kept Woman of God conference. This is its 8th year in 2023. Actually, make sure that you go and register and sign up so that you can be there. If you are in the local Kansas City area, you can go to www.keptwomanofgodconference.com. Plug in. All right, we look forward to seeing you there. And Rochinda, we're going to have you back on. We're looking forward to seeing you in season 2, my dear. Love you and God bless.